Hello, welcome back to my allotment. It's now the end of July. I don't quite know where the month's gone. It's really flown by this month. But in terms of the weather, it's been really up and down. We've had some warm days, some quite cool days. It's been a little bit humid. We've had quite a bit of rain as well, and the temperatures feel a little bit lower than what they should be for the time of the year. So summer so far feels a little bit cool. Some of the plants have struggled because of that, so they feel like they're a little bit behind. You'll see those shortly, but otherwise I'm still harvesting lots of food. I've had some peas, I've had lots of carrots. In fact, I need to harvest some more carrots this evening, as well as maybe a few beetroot and some more of those peas. But the flowers are in bloom and there's lots to see today. So let's jump right in and have a look around the allotment at the end of July in 2020. There's a big black cloud right above us right now, and the wind's really starting to pick up, and I've got a feeling it's about to tip it down with rain, so we might have to do a bit of a rain check shortly. Hopefully the heavens aren't going to open, fingers crossed we'll stay dry, but we're going to carry on with the tour nonetheless, as far as I can. Yep, the sky's looking pretty grey over there. Let's do this. Let's see how the plot's looking. Oh, first of all, I just want to have a look at my rose because I'm a bit worried about the aphids. So I just spotted this as I was going out the gate, and it has been such a terrible year for aphids this year. Aphids and black fly, there's just so many of them. I just either brush them off or use a jet of water, but yeah, they're just all over the plot this year. And that's my rose coming into its second bloom. Here comes the rain. Oh dear. Well, this will be interesting. I don't remember the last time I did a plot tour in the rain, but down by the pond we've got lots of colour this month. The crocosmia is now in bloom. That fiery orange, love it. Also my hosta, the flowers are now in bloom, and it's probably the last time it's going to look this way, so I'm going to divide it next spring. And I did take a few of the flower stems off to enjoy as cut flowers at home, and the leaves do look a little bit damaged and worse for wear once they flower, but I've still left plenty for the bees because they do love hosta flowers. I mean, aren't they beautiful? Do you remember my dwarf mulberry bush that I bought this spring? Well, I think I've got my first mulberry on its way. It looks ripe. Oh, is it ripe? I think it might be another day or two, you know. It doesn't come off straight away, so I'm guessing it's not quite there yet. And the leeks behind, they're fattening up quite nicely now. All multi-sown. So there's about 3 or 4 leeks in there. They'll be nice over winter. Now it's looking a bit different over here because I've moved some of my chilli plants out of the polytunnel, and I'll explain more about that later. But look at those, my Hungarian hot wax. I really need to pick some of these so that it'll carry on fruiting, otherwise it kind of delays the fruit production. But look at that, oh my goodness. I really need to chop these up, and I might pickle a few, stuff some. I did have one the other day actually, and it was surprisingly hot. I think it's a bit like a Russian roulette over chilli. Some are quite mild, others might blow your socks off a little bit, so yeah, quite a fun one that. We've also got a few jalapenos in out here. Basically more of the milder varieties, because the hot ones really do benefit from extra heat in the environment, so those are still in the polytunnel. Now moving over to my fig tree, it's a little bit of bad news. You may notice that 2 of the figs that I had are missing, and it's not because I've harvested them. They basically fell off a little bit prematurely, and I'm not quite sure why. I have noticed some of this foliage looking a bit off, and I'm not quite sure if it's fig rust, because the back of the leaves, yeah, that does look like fig rust. Can't see any sort of pest damage that would suggest that it's spider mite or anything else. So I think we've got a case of rust here, but I will be checking the root ball at some point as well, just to make sure it's not getting under or over watered. So it's a bit of a shame that the fig's dropped in its first year of me having it, but you know, these things happen. And the weather's been really up and down, so I'm not surprised that some of the fruits have struggled. Underneath the fig we've got the Origeron and the planter looking absolutely beautiful, with my sweet corn and a lovely little cosmos there. The sweet corn's bulked out quite a lot. I haven't got any of those lovely tassels just yet, but I did plant mine and sow them a little bit late. But if we have a little look down one of the plants, my lovely sunflower here, let's see if we can spot any tassels. There we are. They're on their way. They might just be a bit late. Oh, and I made a mistake with my cosmos. So the idea was these plants would be flowering, you know, at about 60-70 centimetres tall. But I made a mistake with my labelling, and I've got dwarf ones down there. Whoopsie, no big deal. But yeah, the corn patch is looking pretty good. I've just spun around and look what I found. My autumn fruiting raspberries are already setting fruit. We've got so many on the way, and I think these are really benefited from all the wet weather that we've had. Got so many to come this year. And just next door, the fruit tree. Well, the apples are really starting to bulk up now. I've been around most of the branches and thinned them out. That one actually needs thinning, so what we're going to do is remove the smallest apple so that we only have 2 there left on that cluster, and we've got another pair there. So that means these will get to a nice big size, whereas if I left this one on, they'd all be quite small because they haven't got enough room to swell, you see? So although it seems wasteful, if you like bigger, juicier apples, it's definitely worth doing. So I think it's going to be a good year. I know I have my doubts, but we do have quite a few fruit there. And well, the rhubarb looking as lush as ever, still not dying back yet. And my penstemon is looking really beautiful. I love that sort of maroon purpley colour against the green. The bees love this. It's like a summer version of your foxglove, and it just flowers on end if you just keep deadheading it. So if we pinch it out there, then we'll get some new flower spikes shoot up and continue to flower right until autumn. Outside my shed, all the pots are looking really good. This dahlia is actually looking a little bit leggy, and the reason for that is because my shed has a little roof, a little porch over the front, but I'm not too worried, it's still going to bloom. And also my hanging basket is looking great. Do need to deadhead a few of these trailing verbenas. Remember, you must keep deadheading your baskets and feeding, because these guys need a lot of food and they dry out quite quickly. Now, getting down to the wildlife corner is a little bit challenging right now, with all of these apple branches weighing down above me, so I'm just going to crouch underneath. Oh, there we are. And what have we got this month? Lots of that bright pink rose campion. We've got my dahlia in pots, underplanted with a few pelargoniums. These ones are yet to bloom. We've also got a foxglove that's going to seed, and you know what to do? Shake it. And now we're going to have loads of more, hopefully, foxgloves next year, especially because that soil is quite damp at the moment. Yeah, just going to self-seed it all over the place. The lupins are all going to seed, and obviously we could pick these off and dry them out And if you want to, we could try sowing the seeds, which is best done around this time of year actually. I can't do it one-handed. There you go. There are the seeds inside, but like a pea pod. To be honest, it's looking a little bit weedy around here this month, but I've got cosmos here that's still waiting to bloom. There's a buddleia there at the back, and also I'm going to use the zoom because I can't step over. Lots of blackberries that the birds are loving already. And there's also a verbena here, and that's one for the butterflies. They love verbena. Those really thin little tube-like flowers that they can stick their tongue in to get all that nectar. Also got some sea holly here in bloom. This is also great for the pollinators. It's under the apple tree, and lo and behold, look what's blooming despite the season. I've got a lupin that's decided to turn up to the party a little bit late, but you're more than welcome. Call me crazy, but I've also left this thistle for the butterflies. I think they might quite like a bit of thistle. But here's the plot from the bottom end. I'm outside the shed, and I just want to show you my new cut flower border. Look at these straw flowers. They're so papery, and these are going to be great for drying and making into decorations and making some handmade gifts. We're going to have lots of straw flowers this year. And also they're great for pollinators. Hoverflies, they really love these. But they're not even fully open yet, which is, you know, I should actually be picking them now when they're like this. But I didn't pick them so I could show you guys. But once they start to open, not quite there. But they're not as attractive when they're fully open. So I will be picking them when they're sort of at this stage, and then hanging them upside down to dry indoors, and then they'll dry just like that, or they might open a little bit more. And yeah, it'll be great for some crafting projects and making dried flower arrangements. Now I do need to harvest a few carrots for my dinner, so let's go have a look underneath the cover in my carrot bed and see what we've got. So in here we've got two varieties, the Nantes and Chante. So they're both quite dwarf varieties, great for roasting whole. And I'm just going to grab, oh my goodness, that is huge. That's a good sized carrot. Yep, I thought these might be smaller because there's more of them next to each other there. Haven't thinned these ones out quite so much. You do have to be careful of the carrot fly and try not to crush the foliage too much, or leave the carrots around where the carrot fly could smell them and try and get in. But that's why I've got the mesh here to stop them from attacking my carrots. That colour is just amazing. My banana plant's looking great, so lush and green at the minute. Now my salad bed, I have taken out all of the lettuce plants, and I've put a few seedlings in, some beetroot and a few more lettuce there. But look at all of that beetroot. I've got a few different varieties in here, and I'm just so tempted. I'm going to harvest some today. So this one is an orange coloured one, and I think it was called Boldor. I think it's Boldor. Let's pull it. Oh, look at that size. That is amazing. Look at that. I'm happy with that. That's brilliant. Actually, I'm going to leave some of the others for a little while because I'm going to pickle quite a lot all in one go. So I'm just going to harvest and leave it with this one today. I'm going to roast this when I get home. Here are my other tropical plants. My canna looking great. Not sure when it's going to flower or if it will flower this year. And the variegated one does have a little bit of leaf burn, but it's been quite sunny, so it's to be expected when you do have these bright white leaves. Sometimes it does benefit, I think, from being in a little bit of a more shady spot when you've got that type of variegation. But yeah, that's the banana, and also my colocasia. I absolutely love this big elephant ear plant, and that there is a brand new leaf that's only come out this week, and it's a lot bigger than the other, and they're just going to keep on getting bigger, and then I'll overwinter it at home. but I do love that plant, it's absolutely gorgeous. And then we come to the newish addition to the plot, my big fencing panel, and look at that clematis. It is in its element right now, looking absolutely amazing. The colour of those flowers is just so vibrant, and there's just so many of them, it's absolutely covered. I couldn't be more pleased with this at the moment. It's really starting to spread and cover the panelling. And further down we've got the honeysuckle that's also climbing, and it's got lots of flower buds on the way, so that's really starting to fill out. And then right down in the bottom corner there's the winter flowering clematis, that's Winter Beauty. And I've also planted quite a nice bright variegated hosta there to brighten that corner up. And the climbing rose that I planted here is also doing really well, having its second growth spurt of the year, and we've also got some flower buds coming. That's quite exciting. I can't wait to see it cover this side of the panel so that you don't have to look at all of that mess behind. Now let's go have a look at the actual beds on the plot, or perhaps first my sweet peas. I've got a bit of a problem going on with my sweet pea supports this year. I didn't quite make them strong enough, and we've had some really windy days, and there should be one there, but it's a little bit horizontal. I've just come today to find it flat as a pancake, so I'll have to fix that up somehow. But we've got lots of sweet peas that all need picking, and they're also covered in aphids. It's just everywhere. Remember, just keep picking your sweet peas, keep picking them and you'll get more flowers. If you stop picking them, they'll go to seed and then they won't flower anymore. So as we go down to this bed here, we've actually got 2 rows of parsnips, some at different stages than others. I've planted a few young beetroot seedlings. Those ones I just threw the packet down and directly sowed those beetroot. We've also got some little turnips, and that there, can you recognise what it is? I'm growing celeriac again. I bought some plug plants. I've cheated and bought plug plants, and those are growing really well right there. And we've got so many more sweet peas to pick, and peas as well. The peas have done so well this year. These are the rosacrone, which I think is going to be one of my new favourite plants this year because the flowers were just so pretty. And the peas are growing really, really well up the supports, albeit a little bit flopped over because of the wind, and it's such a heavy cropper. So they're doing really well. Haven't picked any of these yet, although no, still got a little way to go, still a little bit early. I'm growing dwarf varieties of beans this year, and they've all taken a bit of a battering with the heavy rain we had yesterday. But look at this leaf, I've got a variegated leaf. So I think that's just a mutation. Don't think it's meant to look like this, because the others certainly don't, but that's pretty cool. And then we've got my Lord Leicester pea tower, and just look at it. It goes taller than me. I can't quite believe how many peas are on it, and it must be at least 6 foot, 6.5 foot. I can't even reach the top. So I'm really excited to harvest these because I haven't grown Lord Leicester before, and they've only just, can't get it up. There we go, first few pods that I've had of this plant, and it's really difficult to open a pea pod with one hand. So good, fresh peas on the allotment. I mean, it has to be done. Really good. Lord Leicester is a winner. I think I might grow him again. In front of my carrot bed we've got all my potatoes. You might have seen my new video, me harvesting and cooking some on the plot. Thanks for watching, if you watched it. And my courgettes are finally starting to crop. They've taken their time. I've got a few plants. In fact, I've just spotted on this plant here, we've got some that are definitely ready for harvesting. I love yellow ones because they're just so bright and easy to spot. Look at those sad sweet peas. I need to go prop them back up again. But here we've got my wigwam of squash, and it's covered in squash fruit already. I can see at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think. And these will be harvested quite early on, probably late August. Unlike your typical sort of autumn squash, that's already about the size of a tennis ball, and they're covering my little wigwam really well. I'm just hoping that the fruits don't get too heavy, that we have similar accidents to my sweet peas over here. The calendula in front are looking really good, although we do have a little bit of mildew on the leaves, but that's nothing really to be worried about. And once I deadhead them, I'll actually take it down the stem to remove some of the mildew that's on there. But that's all related to the weather again. And that brings us up to the dahlia borders. And they're looking so colourful right now, with all those daisy flowers, the erigeron. We've got some nasturtiums there in the side. A little bit of feverfew. That sows itself everywhere. But the dahlias are a little bit far behind. We don't have too many in bloom yet, but we've got lots of buds. I think because the weather really cooled down and we didn't see much sunshine for a while. But look, we do have some. This is one of my favourites. Natal, really dark, burgundy colour, pompon variety. It's like a nice dark red wine, that. Beautiful. And then next to it is the creme de cassis. This one has not fully opened. There we are, that one is perfect for picking. Whereas this one has gone a little bit over, because you can see the pollen there. But yeah, they're all coming, just got to wait a little bit longer. My Sarracenia is really picked up now. I've left it outside of the polytunnel, so it's a little bit cooler, and we've had lots of rain, so it's just filled with rainwater. Loving life at the moment. And we've got another creme de cassis here on the second patch, but so many more to come next month, guys. I promise I'll try and fit in another video if I can, but yeah, they're all coming. Let's go into the polytunnel, where I've done a bit of tidying lately. I've taken out quite a few of those chilli plants, and I've done a lot of pruning because it's been so humid, and I've been a bit worried about blight. Now, whilst the tomato plants look quite happy and healthy, which they are for the time being, they're just really slow to ripen because we haven't had enough sunshine. And as you can see, I've removed quite a lot of the lower foliage so that the sun can get to the tomatoes. But these are the first fruits that I have that aren't green, and they've still got about another day to go. But yeah, I haven't had any tomatoes yet, so I'm just gonna have to be patient and wait a little longer. But hopefully it's going to be quite sunny this week, so we should hopefully get some more tomatoes to pick. I've got lots more flower trusses coming, and a little tip for you: if you notice that your pollination isn't great, so if you're only getting 1 or 2 tomatoes per truss, you want to do the little tap and shake, because this will then pollinate the flowers. They are self-fertile, but they just need a little bit of action to get them going and to pollinate the flowers. So if you just shake them, we should hopefully now get a full truss of flowers on this. And down here we've got lots of different chilli plants. As you know, I love my chilies and my hot sauce. This is a variegated one that's called a fish pepper. I don't have any fruits on these yet, but the plant alone just looks absolutely gorgeous with all that speckled foliage. And next to it, these here are my sweet banana peppers. So these ones shouldn't actually be too hot, but we've got lots on here, lots of big ones. And then we've got my Morocco peppers. These are actually quite spicy, but for a sweet pepper. Let's go a bit further down. We've got more sweet banana down there. And down here That's my paprika, and some more Morocco peppers there. So I've got lots of chilies coming, and lots more that are actually flowering, including my Bohemian goat. And now this hanging basket is actually a tumbling tomato variety, so it naturally hangs over as it grows. We've got the first fruits coming on there as well. And the tomato plants are now just reaching the top of the roof, and it'll be in a few weeks' time where we actually pinch out the tops to stop them from growing, so that the fruits they do have will ripen. And I think this is my Amish paste variety. Oh, and I must show you this one. This is the RG Fantasy. Really unusual shape, this one. Again, not grown this one before. I think this one will ripen to a yellow colour. So here is how the plot is looking from the top at the end of July in 2020. I can't wait for all of those squash to really bulk up. And of course, we've got so many more dahlias to look forward to. My recommendation for you this month is that if you're within the UK, please take part in the Big Butterfly Count. It's a nationwide survey that takes place for the next couple of weeks. I think it ends in the middle of August, and it's just a great activity to do in your back garden or at the park. You don't have to have a garden to take part. And basically you take 15 minutes to count and identify all the butterflies you see in 15 minutes. And it's great to do with the children, and you send off your information and it can help the conservationists. So it's a really good thing to do. I'm yet to do it for my allotment. I'm waiting for a nice sunny day, and I'll probably sit over there by my buddleia and count whichever butterflies I see. That's it from me today. Thank you very much for joining me. Let me know what you're doing in the garden at the moment, what you're harvesting, what's growing well for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.